I don't know that there's been any laws broken.
Oh, I don't care about the traders. I want to know who's giving them the information, my brother. Hal, this isn't about everybody is a Google away from knowing what you just said. The problem, Chris, is they're getting the information from somewhere, and we know where they're getting it.
Hey guys, Joseph here. And tonight we're talking about a story that's sending shockwaves through both Washington and Wall Street. Chris Cuomo and progressive host Chris Hahn just went head-to-head with GOP megadonor Hal Lambert in a fiery debate over what some people are calling one of the biggest potential insider trading scandals connected to the Trump administration. At the center of the controversy are mysterious oil futures trades reportedly worth billions of dollars. Trades that seem to happen right before major announcements involving Iran, rising tensions in the Middle East, and sudden movements in global oil prices. Now critics are asking a serious question. Was someone making massive profits using information the public didn't have access to? During the heated exchange, Cuomo and Hahn pressed Lambert hard, arguing that average Americans are struggling financially while powerful insiders somehow always appear to be one step ahead when world-changing events happen. Lambert pushed back, saying there's still no proof of wrongdoing, but the debate quickly turned intense as all sides argued over whether this points to corruption, coincidence, or something even deeper happening behind closed doors. And guys, later in the video, I'm going to give you my own thoughts on this entire situation because there are some parts of this story that really don't sit right with a lot of people online right now. So make sure you stay till the end because this debate gets pretty wild.
All right, let's get after it. What's really going on with these trades we keep seeing and what can be done about it? GOP megadonor and Wall Street investor Hal Lambert joins us, and the host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast, Mr. Chris Hahn. Good to have you both. Hal, thank you for joining us. First, what is the chance that there is zero fugazi factor with these trades and that these guys are just savvy?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they're trading on information that's clearly not out there to the general public. The problem is, Chris, it's not illegal. And, you know, surprise, this is not the stock market where you have fiduciary rules and an SEC enforcing fiduciary rules. Mm-hmm. This is the Chicago Commodity Exchange.
Commodities Exchange.
They're known to not have fiduciary obligations. They're known to be able to trade on information that's proprietary that no one else knows. And so, you know, they can investigate it. And I think they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't investigate. I think it'd be good to know who's doing this. It may not be someone in the White House. But by the way, whoever it is, they have to be very sophisticated. They have to have a lot of money. You can't just have a futures trading account, willy-nilly. It is very difficult to get one of those set up. To trade in this size is difficult. So you're going to be looking at a handful of people that could do this. I don't think it's going to be difficult to find out who it is. But again, once they do, I don't know that there's been any laws broken.
Oh, I don't care about the traders. I want to know who's giving them the information, my brother. Hal, this isn't about everybody is a Google away from knowing what you just said. The problem, Chris, is they're getting the information from somewhere, and we know where they're getting it. They're getting them from someone in or close to the administration, and they do have rules.
Yeah. You know, I think the problem in the Trump administration is that they see Trump pardoning all of these people who have committed massive fraud. They see a lot of people in and around the Trump orbit getting rich on contracts with the government or other things that they are benefiting with that relationship. And they say, what about my piece? Everybody wants in on the grift. And I think you're starting to see some lower level people. We saw it a couple of weeks ago with that poly market trade on the Venezuela invasion. That was just a low level guy who knew about it and got in on it. I think there's a culture problem in this administration that is really creating this kind of behavior in the White House. And that's what they really got to get to the bottom of.
Well, can I jump in on that?
Go ahead,
because
Al.
I don't think that's fair. Look at Congress. Okay, both sides of the aisle. Look, there's an exchange traded fund that trades on Nancy Pelosi's trades. So,
Yes.
They're getting information the public doesn't have, and they're trading on the stock market. So to say this is like a Trump issue is not fair. This is a Washington, D.C. swamp issue. I think it's a problem. I don't think it should be allowed in Congress. I don't think they should be able to trade these individual stocks. But don't try to make this like a Republican Trump issue. This is an issue across. And look, I agree. People look at this and go, this isn't right that these people are up there making all this money on the side, basically, with information that other people don't have. So I'm in agreement on that. But I just don't think you blame Trump.
I agree that there should be limits on what members of Congress can do when it comes to their stock portfolio, just as there should be limits of people who work in the White House. They have information that you and I will never have, and they should not be able to trade on that information. It's insider trading at a whole nother level, and there should be rules around it, but there is without a doubt a culture going on right now in this White House. But I agree with you. What's happened in Congress is bad as well, and Congress needs to pass reforms for itself.
Yeah, but they're not going to do it. And they've got to be shamed into doing it. They won't even vote on the War Powers resolution. They just took off. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. We've seen a lot of shirking of duty. We've seen a lot of Congress giving power to the executive that the executive shouldn't have. Presidents of both parties have taken it, used/abused. Trump is not the first. But Hal, a lot of people I know voted for the president to drain the swamp and to stop this kind of stuff, to stop the lawfare, to stop the double dealing, to stop the two-tiered system. It seems like he's made it worse. You don't see it that way.
Yeah, no, I don't see that he's made it worse. And look, we don't know who's leaked this information. We really don't. We certainly don't. And by the way, when you say leak it, if you're letting our allies know in the Middle East something that's about to happen, and you have somebody in the Middle East trading off of that, is that a leak? I don't think that's a leak. That's part of what we're trying to do as coordination with other countries. And, you could easily have Middle East players trading the commodity futures in oil to make money off of that. So I don't think we should jump to the conclusion that, somebody is nefarious inside the White House making money off of this. Who knows who it is? I think it should be investigated. But I think that there was a lot of corruption under Joe Biden. And I think Trump has really tried to get a handle on that. And I think he's had a pretty clean group there. You don't see, in my opinion, you haven't seen, people grifting off of this government like you certainly didn't see with, Hunter Biden and others. So I just don't agree with that.
Are you kidding me?
Hal, have you been on vacation for the last year? Hold on a second. Hunter Biden was using his father's name to make money. Period. End of discussion. And did Joe obviously have a soft spot for him because of all the struggles that he has? Yeah. And it led him to allow the kid to do things that he shouldn't have done. The man to do things he shouldn't have done. He's not a kid. However, we've never seen anything like what we're seeing right now. The president pardoned a guy who admitted a felony, who then gave his sons a business that was funded through the UAE. And now his sons are in the drone business getting government contracts. We've never seen anything like it, Hal. Ever even close.
Billions.
Joe Biden pardoned thousands of people. I mean, come on.
Let me talk, Chris.
But Joe Biden,
he did.
Joe Biden pardoned guys who were convicted of marijuana offenses. Trump is pardoning people who have frauded millions of Americans. Yeah, he pardoned his own son, but his son's using his father's name was like having a paper route compared to what the Trump sons are doing to make money right now off of the administration.
Problem is,
look, I'm not saying it's illegal, but look at what it is.
Here's the problem. Hal, you're not wrong. It exists a lot. I just believe it has been magnified here, and it was supposed to be being marginalized. That's my bitch about it. That's why I'm not happy about what I'm seeing. But let's be very clear. We have created a corruption culture. It's a kleptocracy. Everybody knows it and they expect no better. That's where the space is. If somebody comes in and can actually demonstrate that they do better, they won't pardon guys like this. They won't let their family be involved. I still remember the day this guy came to me and he said, hey, Hal, he said, Chris, I got this buddy, Hal. He does condiments. And, the state of New York pays like $5 million too much for condiments. Did you know that? I said, no, I didn't know that. He says, yeah, I got this guy. He says he can cut it in half. Can you get him a meeting with your brother's guys? I didn't even think about calling my brother because I thought he would punch me in the face. That is because I was afraid of the conflict. We need that on that level. We need people who are afraid to even have a smell test that they pass, because right now everything stinks. But Hal, I appreciate you making the arguments. Thank you. And Chris Hahn always.
So after watching this entire debate, one thing is very clear. This story is much bigger than just politics. It's about trust. Trust in the government, trust in the financial system, and trust in whether powerful people are really playing by the same rules as everyone else. Because think about it for a second. When ordinary Americans invest money, they take risks. They study the market, they hope for the best, and many times they still lose money. But whenever stories like this appear, where billions of dollars are suddenly moved at the perfect time right before major geopolitical announcements, people naturally start asking questions. And honestly, you can't really blame them for that. Now, to be fair, allegations are not proof. Just because suspicious trades happen does not automatically mean a crime took place. Investigations are supposed to uncover facts, not emotions. But at the same time, the timing of these trades is exactly why so many people are demanding answers right now. If someone had advanced knowledge about military tensions, oil shocks, or government decisions and used that information to make huge profits, that would be an absolutely massive scandal. And what made this debate so intense was how differently everyone viewed the situation. Cuomo and Chris Hahn were basically arguing that powerful insiders always seem to benefit during moments of chaos, while average citizens deal with the consequences. Higher gas prices, economic uncertainty, inflation, and global instability. Meanwhile, Hal Lambert tried to push back and say people should not jump to conclusions without hard evidence. But here's the reality. Public skepticism is already extremely high. A lot of Americans today feel like the political and financial systems are designed to protect the wealthy and connected, while regular people are left behind. So whenever a story involving billions of dollars, war tensions, and possible insider information comes out, it immediately captures attention because the people already feel there's one set of rules for elites and another set for everyone else. And honestly, whether you support Trump or oppose him, this is the kind of story that deserves transparency. If nothing illegal happened, then investigators should be able to prove that clearly. But if there was wrongdoing, then people involved should absolutely be held accountable no matter what political side they're on. Because at the end of the day, nobody should be above the law. What also makes this story dangerous politically is the timing. The country is already deeply divided. Tensions are high online, and every major controversy instantly becomes a political war between Republicans and Democrats. Some people are already calling this another attempt to attack Trump, while others believe this could expose something far more serious happening behind the scenes. And until more evidence comes out, the arguments are only going to get louder. But those are just my thoughts on the situation. I want to know what you guys think. Do you believe these suspicious oil trades were simply lucky timing, or do you think there's something bigger going on behind closed doors? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another major political story or breaking news update.